Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 31,860, down 2.99%. Ethereum, ETH, is currently trading at 1926, down 4.34%. If you're new to our channel, welcome of course. I'd like to let you know that everything I do for you is free. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time crypto trader. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I'd like to share Rule 704 with you. Use knowledge, not fear. Cryptocurrencies are extremely volatile. Sometimes we have to go back and look at the potential, what the uptake is, what the reality is, and why we are investing in crypto or trading crypto in the first place. It's quite important. What is the potential of cryptos? They are decentralized. The system that exists now is centralized, like AWS. They are trustless. The system existing now requires trust between intermediaries, such as banks and others. Immutable. They are stored, transactions are stored on a permanent ledger. It's digital, which means it's fast, at the speed of light. It's secure. The crypto in cryptocurrencies is cryptographic. It's very secure. Cryptocurrencies save an enormous amount of time. We can actually automate a lot of things using digital currencies. Bitcoin can never exceed 21 million Bitcoin. It is a fixed supply. And the thing is, it's really intangible, like electricity. We can't touch electricity, or if we do, we really suffer for it. But the concept is, you generally can't see electricity, but it powers everything. Crypto is the electricity of the 21st century. A lot of times I show you this little chart. It's an uptake chart or adoption chart. You can see the white line is the internet adoption. The sort of gold line is cryptographic or cryptocurrency adoption. I'd like to talk to you as well about the reality. Through the KS model, we track the price of Bitcoin through its various cycles and halvings. It has a definite fingerprint. Let's pretend we journey back to 1995 and the web, the internet, is just literally emerging from the darkness. Now, Clifford Stoll says why the web won't be nirvana. Nirvana is paradise. And you say, who's Clifford Stoll? Glad you asked. He was an American astronomer. He was involved in a lot of IT and a physics teacher, an incredibly smart individual. He actually applied one of the first examples of digital forensics to track down a KGB hacker in 1986. How cool is this guy? He actually wrote a book in 1995. He said e-commerce is non-viable. That means it will never happen. And nothing will replace your daily newspaper. You'll have paper in your hand forever. It's so funny. Back in those days, we had things called CD-ROMs. Wow, can you remember that? A disc. Anyway, Clifford said that no CD-ROM can replace a competent teacher. No computer network will change the way government works. Wow. That's, yeah, very interesting. Try reading a book on a disc. At best, it's unpleasant. Yeah, it's so unpleasant. We don't have discs anymore. It's an incredible thing to go back so far in time and see how really intelligent people can get it wrong. Borders is still around in a limited capacity, but at one stage Borders was going so strong and growing so fast. I loved going to Borders, reading all the books, hanging out, having a coffee. It was fantastic until they closed it down. Clifford said no internet can ever take books online. Oops, what happened with Amazon? Jeff Bezos did exactly that. Now, something really interesting. The market cap of Amazon today, right now, is $8.3 $1.83 trillion. That's pretty big. I don't think Clifford saw that one coming. And this is the Amazon website. Wow, look at that. Incredible stuff, isn't it? It's just, they went so much further than books. Do you remember Blockbuster? I do. I used to go to Blockbuster all the time until they closed it down. Again. What happened to Blockbuster? Netflix came along and put those CD-ROMs and posted them out to people, and then it went digital. Look at this market cap right today, $240.75 billion. Wow. This is what the shop looks like for Netflix. You just type in a URL and you go for it. It's incredible to go back in history. Do you know this is Fifth Avenue? These horses and buggies were the predominant form of transportation in the 1900s. Look at this. It's incredible. I don't know if you've ever actually researched this period. I have. It's just fascinating. The smell from the manure was so bad that they said, what are we going to do with these piles of manure? You don't look at it like in this picture and think about that, but it was a really, really big problem. Ford comes to the rescue, and what does Ford do? By the way, Ford currently has market cap of nearly $55 billion. Very impressive. Ford and the automotive industry transformed that horse and buggy into cars. This is Fifth Avenue now. It's incredible stuff, how technology changes everything. And of course, I hear you say, what about Tesla? Tesla with a market cap of $626.74 billion. Electric cars, autonomous vehicles, oh my goodness. What's Fifth Avenue going to look like in 10 years from now? What's the world going to look like? Technology impacts so many things. This is my ancestor, Clarkson Frederick Stanfield. Look at him. He looks like me. Anyway, Clarkson painted this particular work, which hangs in the National Gallery of Victoria. It's called Mount St. Michael in Cornwall. He painted that in 1830. It's a massive picture. It literally takes up an entire wall inside the gallery. Now say I wanted to look at this art, but on my computer, and I didn't want the National Gallery to own it. I wanted to own it. What could I do? How could crypto help me there? Ta-da! It could be turned into a non-fungible token, or NFT, which basically captures data on the digital ledger, the blockchain. Wow. Recently, we've seen Axie Infinity, which is a gaming platform, and also has collectibles and NFTs. It's been on a tear. Unreal. Society is embracing these different digital formats at an incredible pace. On that note, I'd just like to say hi to eclecticm.eth. Eclectic M actually helped with some data from a previous episode. I didn't get a chance to thank Eclectic M back then, so I'll just do it now. Thank you very much. So we can see that the internet in this white line has changed so much. We know that crypto is growing far more strongly than the internet ever did. It's going to bring changes that we can't even fathom right now. So, how fast is crypto growing? I'd like to thank Maxim for reaching out and sharing this chart with me and the community. Thank you, Maxim. It says the number of blockchain wallet users worldwide from 2011 to 2021. You see, it's 74.74 million users. How does that compare to the internet? Glad you asked. Here's a indication. We can see the number of internet users worldwide from 2005 to 2019. So this is old data. Look at this. blockchain, that 74.74 million users, is like this little tiny blip on this huge bar. Guess what? Crypto is going to do things as an industry that a lot of people will not understand. There's a lot of people out there like Clifford Stoll saying Bitcoin will go to zero, Bitcoin will go to 20,000, Bitcoin is in a bear market. Yep. Well, this guy, accurately predicted that e-commerce would never occur. Hang on a second, I got that wrong. E-commerce did occur, didn't it? Wow, sometimes really, really smart people get it wrong. Let's return to Rule 704. Use knowledge, not fear. You have the knowledge of the disruption that the internet brought with it. You know crypto is going to do the same thing. Technologies rise and fall, just like Ford. Horse and buggies, motor vehicle, electric cars, and there will be things that will take Tesla out in time. The concept is we have the knowledge to know society is continuously changing. We're not fearing where Bitcoin is right now because we know the long-term trend. We know what it's doing. Now, where is it in the cycle? That becomes important. We need to know the trend. Rule 174, T cubed, trend, timing, trigger. This episode we look at the trend. Next episode we look at timing, which will help you to pull the trigger based on your financial circumstances. Rule 1112, we use the KSProcess to determine the true trend. The first thing we need to do is understand where the economic system is currently. If it's in contraction, if it's in depression, recession, that's going to have an impact. If it's high on expansion, everything is rosy, that will have an impact. If it's just recovering, that will also have an impact. We can see developed economies around the world are in early to mid-stage recovery. Some more advanced than others, some getting there. What we see is that we're early on in the recovery sector. Now, what does that mean realistically? That means lots of stimulus, lots of support in the economy. Things will run in a way that the governments around the world will seek to get us as an economic system up to mid-cycle recovery. When things work well from here, when expansion occurs, they will scale back all the fiscal stimulus and let the economy run because it can run, because it's healthy enough to do so then. With this in mind, we look at the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. We know that we're around halfway through this current cycle, according to the numbers on past cycles. A lot of people are calling for a collapse. No collapse has ever occurred at this stage without a black swan event. Black swan events, such as the COVID shutdown, are things that we cannot control. If that happens, it happens. And like Peter Lynch, we couldn't care less. We look at it and say, we can't predict things that are outside of our control, so we don't worry about them. Because if we do, we're going to lose a heck of a lot of money. I'll just go through this on-chain data quickly because it's really pretty much the same as yesterday. Rule 181, compare same psychology. A very good on-chain metric is the number of transfers to exchanges. These blow off tops, and we know all about the euphoria creating blow off tops in crypto. There's a lot of coins that go from cold storage onto the exchanges. That creates a large number of transfers to exchanges. What's happening here? Nothing. They're accumulating. If we look at realized cap hodl waves, we need 3 peaks as was occurring in past cycles. We're at 1 peak, which supports the hypothesis that we're about halfway through. If we look at the hash ribbon, we see the hash ribbons generally occur before bull market activity and occur late after the peak. That occurred in the previous peak, and then going back to the 2012 cycle, halving cycle, we had a hash ribbon before things took off and a hash ribbon at capitulation. We've got a hash ribbon basically here. It's really more about the China miner shutdown, but we see that there's really not a lot of fresh air, clean to the left, and certainly not clean to the right. So we look at this as a stage of early takeoff. Let's have a look at rule 56. Don't seek tops or bottoms. So many people are taught, they're given the concept, you need to buy low and sell high. It's totally misleading. You don't know what low is, you don't know what high is until it has actually occurred. That's especially true with tops and bottoms. When you become a professional trader, you don't even concern yourself with tops and bottoms. What you look at are probabilities. What is the probability that it will go down? 5% probability. Okay, that's good enough to accumulate in. And you always buy at support, expecting price has a negative bias and seeking to lower your overall cost of purchase by buying as low as you can get. Cryptos are exponential assets. They're marked by blow-off tops and blow-off bottoms. Exponential price increases fueled by euphoria, and exponential price decreases fueled by terror, basically. It's a euphoria and terror market. We can see no euphoria, we see no terror. We're about halfway through. All the markets are connected. Rule 193, check the stock markets. We do that because we need to understand what's happening across the economic system. We focus predominantly on the US market because it's a huge percentage share of the global stock market value. When you're looking at analysis, it's really important to apply Rule 147. See things with no bias. Well-meaning news outlets always say a rock-solid law of a relationship exists between two variables. Those people are often incredibly wrong. It's important to just look at the data, make your assumptions and assertions from what is happening right now. For example, what is the association between inflation, measured as that blue line, and Bitcoin, measured as the gold line? What do you think when you have a look at this chart? What do you see? Do you see inflation going up and Bitcoin going down? No, it's going up. Do you see Bitcoin coming down? What's happening with inflation? It's coming down. Okay, pretty interesting, isn't it? We don't say that's necessarily one is causing the other. Even though it might be, it's important to just keep gathering probabilities. About 3 days ago, let's have a look at the NASDAQ 100. About 3 days ago, I said I believe there's a probability that because price is always moving in a wave, it's going up and then down, up and then down, up. I believe it would move back to this long-term support line, which would probably be around 7%. It's not an exact thing, but it's really quite interesting that we've seen in the past couple of days that sell-off starting to occur. I believe it will break this support, come down. Now, what do I believe is going to happen next? I have a gut feeling on this divergence. You see, Bitcoin has been going down and the stock market has been going up. Why is that potentially an issue? The money that was in Bitcoin, I believe, got rotated into the stock market. Why do I think that happened? Because Refinitiv estimated the quarter-on-quarter earnings would increase by about 66%. I believe what happened here, money just cycled from crypto to the market to take advantage of this. It will come down and Bitcoin will come up. That is my gut feeling. Reality will play it out. That's just what my experience over many, many years is making me feel will happen. It doesn't necessarily mean it will happen. I just like to share my sort of thoughts and trading journal with you. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. We can see it's starting to retrace. We know the price is always moving in a wave, going up and down, up and down, up and down. If price moves too quickly up and doesn't come down, we do have a problem. It can create a very sharp sell-off. Everything is fine here with the S&P, as it's fine with the Nasdaq as well. Let's look at the Russell. The Russell is also retracing. Is this a problem? No. Look at this incredible upsurge. It's just retracing down to a level, and I believe all indices will continue on their upward trajectory. Let's look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones has been doing so well. All price moves in a wave. What do we know? Up and down. Retracement is normal. Let's have a look at FANG stocks, Facebook. Look at this big up move. You know what's going to happen. When Facebook just does the normal, price moves in waves, it could come down to here, gather strength around this particular support area, and keep on going. But people will be calling for the end of the world. Let's have a look at Amazon. Amazon broke through this resistance, came up very strongly, and is coming down. Not unlike what everything else is doing, really. Let's have a look at Apple. Doing well. Come down a little bit, but very solid uptrend. Price is always moving in a wave. It goes up and comes down, goes up and comes down, goes up and comes down. This is going up. What do we know it's going to do? It's going to come down. But that's normal. Let's have a look at Netflix. Broken this resistance, come up. We expect it to come down, hit the support line, and keep on going up. There's no reason why it wouldn't. Google, this very good solid support under here, going up, it will come down. It could hit this level of support or go lower, but it's not important. It's supported, and everything is recovering inside the economic system. Microsoft moving up and down, up and down, up. Of course it's got to come down, and that's no concern to us. But the news outlets will call for a crash in the markets. Please be wary. I'm always interacting with the community, and I love to answer community questions, especially we have so many people in the community looking at different things. If you've come across any up-to-date holdings in ETFs, or this is Bitcoin holdings, this is a Bitcoin chart. If you come to any more accurate data than this, please let me know. I would love to include it, and of course, give you a call out. I always acknowledge community members. This is a community channel. Bitcoin, we're currently seeing 1.46 million Bitcoin being held across ETFs, countries, public companies, and private companies. When I look at this chart of Bitcoin, what I see is a tight resistance line that has been crossed and accumulation occurring within this range. I also see a retest of this particular resistance turned to support. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin starts to rally. A lot of media attention is focused on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Well, that's pretty fair. It does have 654,600 Bitcoin in it. There is an unlock coming up very shortly. Now, you know what's really fascinating about the unlock? This is an unlock here. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is always unlocking. You would think that this is the only one it's ever done, but that's simply not true. Returning to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, it's really, I believe it's important to understand that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is predominantly for high net worth individuals, and also it can be used as a superannuation or IRA support vehicle. That means long-term investment. There's very few people, high net worth individuals, that would sell at this point. They would do exactly the opposite. They would do what Warren Buffett always talks about, which is being greedy when other people are fearful. They would be buying here. But let's check what happens. I believe that is the hypothesis, but we always want to try and prove any hypothesis false before accepting it. So let's find out. MicroStrategy holds 105,000 Bitcoin. It's quite a store of value for the Bitcoin industry. If we look at MicroStrategy, it passed this resistance, turned it to support. Now we're seeing weakness. If we're seeing weakness here, let's see what's happening to Galaxy Digital. 16,400 Bitcoin. It's showing weakness. Don't forget that these Bitcoin-centric, well, not Tesla, but these Bitcoin-centric holding companies will be incredibly impacted by Bitcoin's actual price. We've seen a lot of relative strength increase in the RSI underneath Bitcoin at the moment. Price is coming down, RSI is coming up. That tends to suggest that we're going to have a change in trend. Let's have a look at Tesla. Tesla is having some weakness in its overall price. It holds 42,902 Bitcoin. This is really just reflective of the major indices. We look at CoinShares physical Bitcoin. You notice this spark up in the last day of trading. That's pretty cool. CoinShares physical Bitcoin holds 48,466 Bitcoin. Voyager Digital holds 12,260 Bitcoin. We've seen weakness here. That's important to keep our eye on. We're just trying to understand how things are moving across the market. The Purpose Bitcoin ETF is just under resistance. Let's have a look at Square. Square is holding support. That support looks pretty good. Let's have a look at Marathon Digital. It's had a break in this support and come down a little bit. There's weakness in here. We need to keep our eyes on this. Coinbase Global, which holds 4,482 Bitcoin, has seen a sell-off recently. Let's have a look at Bitcoin Group. Bitcoin Group, and this is one I think we should keep our eye on. I think it's disproportionately reacting to Bitcoin movements. It has 3,947 Bitcoin. We've seen weakness here. I believe we're going to see a bit of a fake out and then a rally. It often happens. Being in the markets for decades, I see it happen all the time. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin Fund from Canada. We can see it's just under resistance, but it's close. Let's have a look at ARK Innovation ETF. We're seeing some weakness there. Let's have a look at ARKW. ARKW is the next generation internet ETF. I'd just like to do a quick shout out to Matt Rado. Thank you very much, Rat. I'd like to do a quick shout out to Matt Rado. Thank you very much, Matt. Matt said that there's many ARK funds and they're all separately managed. There are so many ARK funds. I'm not sure how many to put into this particular analysis. Thanks, Matt. Let's have a look at Silvergate Capital Corporation. Silvergate was trading above this resistance, turned it to support. We had a support. It's below support. So many times I see downward spikes under support that are quickly repaired. We have to be aware that technical analysis is always a guide, not a law. Let's have a look at Hive blockchain. It's basically just a little under that support. We can see everything is losing a bit of steam at the moment. Riot blockchain as well. Everything crypto related really depends on Bitcoin's price action. If Bitcoin decides to go down, everything goes down with it. It is a force of nature. Bitfarms, we can see a break in this support. I'm not reading too much into this, although it may look a little bit ugly. I don't really see it. And that's because we're always looking into the price of Bitcoin under inside the engine, the on-chain data, everything we can to understand Bitcoin because we see how powerful it is in moving markets. Let's have a quick look at gold. You know, it's really interesting. Coming back to the COVID sell-off and the US liquidity crisis, many people thought gold was a safe haven and it wouldn't impact their investment. And they went into gold and witnessed a really sharp sell-off. This is the fact with gold and all assets related to the stock market. When the stock markets come down hard, everything tends to come down hard. But they can recover quite quickly as well. We know we have a lot of liquidity in the system. We're not worried about stimulus disappearing. In fact, it's going to be increasing, not decreasing, and there's not going to be tapering, there's going to be more. Let's have a look at gold. Gold broke out of this resistance, come back and failed, is over resistance, just trying to actually convert that to support at the moment. Let's have a look at silver. Silver's doing really well. I see a lot of strength here in silver. It's maintaining itself above that support. That's pretty good. Well done, silver. We can see a spike in fear in the markets through the VIX. And we look at the DXY. So a lot of people, especially news commentators, they say, oh, the dollar is strengthening, so therefore everything is like Bitcoin is going to collapse, because this is a Bitcoin-centric channel. We look at the markets to determine how markets impact. What happened here? When the dollar went up, what did Bitcoin do? Oh, it went up. When the dollar came down, what did Bitcoin do? It came down. The dollar is strengthening. What's Bitcoin doing? It's actually strengthening. So many times you can get very misled by the news. Let's have a look at the 10-year Treasury note yield. We had support, broke support, came back, retested support. It's now coming down. We need to keep our eye on this. Let's have a look what the 30-year is doing. Same deal, of course, because they so closely correlate with each other. Let's have a look at the Treasury bond. The Treasury bond had a line of resistance. It then turned to support. It's coming up. It's sold off a bit, and now it's resuming. Let's have a look into the defensive sectors. Transportation is coming down. Let's have a look at utilities. Utilities is starting to make its way up. At least we're keeping a tab on all sectors. If you would like me to cover any more, please reach out. I'd love to hear what you say. I'll put it in the analysis. Airline industries, we're particularly tracking this because of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 strain. If we understand if the airlines are going back into lockdown themselves, this airline index will continue to weaken. It's important to keep our eye on. Let's have a look at Brent. So Brent is still maintaining its uptrend, just retracing. I've seen a lot of news stories out there or predicting doom and gloom. I guess they got to talk about something, but nothing much has changed from yesterday in reality. Support is pretty good. Let's have a look at light crude. It's just wobbling around its support line, but pretty much the same as yesterday. Let's all seek to wrap this up. I believe there's going to be a huge inflow of funds into the crypto market from the stock market. I believe because we're seeing relative strength consolidate and gain strength for a turnaround. These are very, very oversold levels. In fact, that's the oversold. Bitcoin is as oversold as it was in the COVID crisis. That's pretty bad. With this in mind and understanding what we're actually investing and trading in, which is an incredible life-changing technology that will change literally everything on the planet. As the internet did, we went from this to this. We're going to see the same with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, cryptos in general, are an incredible force. If you could have gone back in time and been an early investor in companies such as Amazon when it was like $1.73, and Netflix, and all those companies such as Google, Yahoo, and you understood what they were, you understood the discontinuous nature of their innovation, you would be very, very well off now. It's the same with crypto. I hope covering Rule 704, use knowledge, not fear, has helped to contextualize what industry you're in and exactly what you're investing or trading in. I hope you found the content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Let's check out the Ethereum tokens quickly. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. We have groups on Facebook and Discord, completely free. You're very welcome to join. You can also reach out to me on Twitter, follow me, or just have a private conversation with me. That is terrific too. Everything I do is free, so there are no costs involved in any of this. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Please prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.